Welcome to the Empowering Industry Podcast, a production from Empowering Pumps and Equipment as the voice of the pump and related equipment industry. Hey everybody! Welcome to episode 109 of the Empowering Industry Podcast. This is coming out on March the 7th, and I'm your host, Charli Matthews, joined by my co-host, Bethany Womack.
In person
Yay.
This week. I'm in Tuscaloosa. I was here for Empowering Women Locally. Excited to be here so we can record together.
Yes.
Thank you all for listening to the show like you do every week. Do us a favor, leave a rating and review, subscribe so we show up every week. And like every week, we're going to cover social media, cover the news, and then we have a great industry interview for you. But how was your week? I've been here.
So it's awesome. That's awesome. Anytime that we have Bethany in town, the whole family loves having her in town. I don't know about Andrew. He was in his own little world, actually. We didn't see much of him.
He's got a broken foot or something.
That's right.
So I'm going to give him a little space.
That's right.
It's fine.
He's not feeling like himself either. So great week. We got to do the Empowering Women local event together. It's just great having time with that community. So good week. What about you? How did you feel?
It's been great. It's always exciting to come see your family. Thanks for hosting. Yeah. And, I love a good Empowering Women event where I get to see people and hear all of the exciting things that they're talking about and take pictures and get a little, all my parents of young kids will appreciate this, get a little sleep without having to listen to the monitor.
Yes.
Always nice. Thank you to my mom and Mark's mom for watching the babies for us this week. But it's been good. I did want to start out the show with a few announcements. The first being that our ad deadline for our April digital edition is quickly approaching. It's going to be March 15th. So you got about a week. Call Vince, call Becca. They'll help you out. We'd love to have you in that digital edition. We have that new platform that we've launched it on, so it makes it easier to read. It's just it's going to be a really good issue, and we want you to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's beautiful too. Emerson's on the cover, and just the photographs, I know you appreciate this. They are beautiful and show the equipment and people. And
yes.
It's one of my favorites that we've seen. So check that out. We'll put the link in the show notes as well to where you can see some of the past ones. And then Epic, it's coming up. So if you haven't heard about that, that's the Empowering Pumps and Industry Conference. It's going to be November 14th and 15th at San Jacinto College in Pasadena, Texas. This event is where industry and the workforce comes together. So we're talking manufacturers, distributors, end users, associations, and the students there. And students, from all of Texas, or if you want to fly in, because it's going to be great. Again, two-day event that will feature presentations from subject matter experts, tabletop displays, outdoor exhibits, which I've already heard some people are going to bring there. So I'm really excited about that.
That is really exciting.
And just touring this state-of-the-art facility, which we did. So we know how great this is, and just being able to see the labs and the possibilities is really amazing.
We're currently shaping the program, so you can be a part of that right now by telling us what you want to hear, telling us what you want to talk about. We're soliciting sponsors for that event to help make the event possible. There's just a lot of ways to get involved, and we've had a lot of excitement. Charli's been forming the advisory committee.
Yes, that's been fun. Some really I think it's like an honor, for me, for somebody to say yes. And then, the call to paper. So if you do want to get involved, like she said, there's an opportunity to speak. And we always like to encourage that. Get out of your comfort zone. There's different levels where you can participate. So, okay.
Yes. For more information, there's a link in the show notes. You can click on that, fill out a Google form, and you will be kept up to date on what is going on for Epic. Now it is time to get social. This is where we're going to talk to you about social media, what you need to know going on in social media right now. And we start off with Manufacturing Monday.
Yes, and this week is Check All Valve. They are a manufacturer with a complete line of inline spring-loaded poppet check valves to serve a wide range of industries. You've probably seen them on our website because they're one of our partners, but their valves are engineered for silent operation, which we all can appreciate, especially if you're looking to eliminate water hammer or any kind of noises around. So they're designed to function equally well as in the vertical or horizontal position with proper spring selection. So they'll help you out with that. I don't know about how to select that, but I'm sure there's some tools that they have that they can, easily be done. So we'll connect you with them.
Yes. Check them out for Manufacturing Monday. It's a great way to highlight manufacturers that you know, that you work with, learn about different manufacturers in the industry. And we're thankful to Check All for partnering with us and happy to highlight them this week for that feature. We do want to invite you to our virtual meetups that we have coming up in March. This week, if you're listening to this when it comes out, the Empowering Women Meetup is happening on Wednesday, March 9th, which is every second Wednesday of the month at 11 a.m. Central Time. And we're going to have a speaker, Julia Beauchamp, who will be joining us for that, so you don't want to miss it. We're starting Mentoring Mondays with Stacey Cassio, the Mentor of the Year from last year with Pink Mentor Network. It launches March 14th, so that's next Monday at 11 a.m. It's a wonderful opportunity. It's a free opportunity for you to get in and benefit from this service that Stacey's offering us.
So I just learned from Gail Rudolph this week that we don't use the word free, we use complimentary. So this is complimentary, and there's more value there to that, just so you know, and you should think about that in your marketing campaigns. Because if Gail said it, there's some power in there.
This is a valuable opportunity that you don't have to pay for, that we are saying is complimentary for you. Please attend. You'll get a lot out of it. And speaking of Gail Rudolph, we have book club coming up as well, featuring her book, Power Up, Power Down, that you won't want to miss.
Yes. Well done. Whew. Transition there. There's another one.
More meetups, Empowering Brands, which I'm very excited about this one because we have a speaker who I've personally met and adore and just learn a lot from and amazed by. And the speaker for that event, which is going to be Tuesday, March 15th, is Hillary Johnson. She's a doctoral student at MIT, created her own pump, been a guest on the podcast, just done a lot of amazing things that I'm sure all of my pump people out there will want to talk to her. For one, because you probably want to hire her. And for two, just to hear her knowledge about pumps is just incredible.
Yeah. As a young professional, she is one of those trailblazers already. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she's going to do next and what she can share with us there. Okay. So with all those events, you need to register so we can make sure that you're there. And I'm not sure that if you don't have all the details, just email us and we can send you to the right place.
Yes.
So you can also give us a shout out on social media. We love that, at Empowering Pumps, or using the hashtag Empowering Industry Podcast. I want to thank Vince Marino on our team, who shares our content, listens to it, puts little plugs in his emails. Just thank you, Vince, for being a great
voice of the industry for us. Yes.
So thanks, Vince. And Frank Tanning Grunholm, I saw you comment on one of our podcasters. Mike Murphy, I believe is who it was. And I love seeing your name. I miss you. I haven't seen you in a while. So thanks for the shout out. And then Gakua Danga, loved your podcast. Loved your response to Bethany. I'm sure that we all can agree that it's one of our best podcasts.
Yeah. So he was a guest a couple episodes back. If you haven't listened to it, go and listen to it. We always send the content once it's posted to our guests and say, hey, share it with your audience as well. And he just made me laugh and just made my day because he responded. He's like, I know it's the best episode you've ever released. And I just love that kind of humor.
We love that around there, though, that confidence and a little fun. All right. Well,
yes.
It's your turn.
Okay. So today for Let's Get Social, we're talking about a little bit of a tough topic. It's how you deal and what you should be doing on social media in a time of crisis. So right now we're living through a time of war in the Ukraine and Russia, and we're seeing just tons of content, really sad content, lots of news updates coming out of that region that's really affecting a lot of us as we're watching it. And so we just want to talk to you about what you can do as a business and what we think you should be doing on social media right now. Starting with, always very important, review your scheduled posts. So
yes,
it's a wonderful tool that we can schedule out posts for the next however long. I don't even know either. Yeah. But I say review your posts that you have scheduled for the next 30 days, just to make sure nothing is coming out that could be insensitive right now as people are seeing all of the news that are coming out. No, there's not going to be any outdated content or irrelevant content. any content about the region in general, you really want to review, because you don't want to send anything out that people are going to be like, these people have no pulse on what's going on in the world right now.
And they're just insensitive, right?
Yeah.
So just really, I think I love what Bethany does here on this podcast. We'll look for things that are relevant to our viewers right now or our listeners right now. And this is just key because if you do send something out, it's hard to take that back, especially to the followers that are regularly following you. Okay. So on that note, stick to your core business. You don't have to be a reporter. So I know we all feel like we need to do something, right? And even Kathy Randall talked about this yesterday. Like, especially as women, we're like, this is our fault. We need to respond. Like, how can we fix this? But as your social media channels, stick to your core business. You get bombarded. We do. Everyone does with news from everyone. So don't think that you have to do that for your company. There are rare exceptions. I love, Katie Maynard with Energy 2.0 and her group. They are tied directly to energy and they inform. And this is where she would show up on social media.
She's really plugged into like geopolitical implications of things and can give us an informed opinion about what she thinks is happening. But if your core business is not that and not talking about geopolitical implications of the energy markets, then you don't need to be sharing your opinion on the war with your customer is my thoughts here.
It's great advice. So stick to the core business, talk about what you create, your solutions and what you offer. And what makes you unique. Stick there, especially for the next 30 days.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. The next thing I want to say that you should be doing right now is really checking with your team, your people. We're all, we've lived through 2 years of a pandemic. It feels like collectively as a society, we've gone through a lot of things in the past couple of years, and seeing this news, it's tragic.
Really, well, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but it's like, I just have to shut it off. I mean, if I really have an important meeting that I want to, start my day off with, like this one, we can walk into the break room, the coffee shop, and there it is in the news, and that will make me sad. And so one thing that you can do to unplug, you can unfollow people that, maybe I guess, super into it and sharing all of the news. Or maybe you don't agree with something that they're saying, but just unplug or unfollow people that you see are affecting your mental health for the negative. So you can also mute your account in general, notifications, turn those off. Just take a moment, go outside for a walk. You can make a list of all the things that you're really happy about. What is your gratitude list for the week? Maybe review that. Do something with your hands. I love this suggestion that you can accomplish something in this hour, whether it's build something, clean your desk, which I really need to do right now, I'm noticing, and organize something, your pantry, your fridge. Like, look for things that you can do to kind of change your mindset. And I think that's a really great point.
Yeah. And on your team, check on your people. Just have a conversation with them. Say, hey, how are you doing? I know this has been a very stressful week. Are you okay? Do you need to talk? Do you have anyone that's directly affected? Can we help you in any way? But having those conversations with your people that in person, that are on your team, just to let people know, like, you're there for them, can be really effective. And I think right now, what we really want to say is that it is hard because, like, we want to do something. We want to fix something. And what we're saying is for your business account, for your professional accounts, like, you don't have to do anything. There's nothing you can do.
There's your permission. Okay. You don't have to post.
Yes. Yeah. This is bigger than all of us. So what we can just do is be there for each other and not spread any information that doesn't need to be spread, but sticking to our core competencies and what we know best is what we need to be doing on social media right now.
Yeah, that's so true. And, one last thing I'll add is, check on people that may be close to that area, not maybe in there. So, Vince moved to Italy, so he's closer to the area, and it's a little bit different of a stress for him than it is us in the U.S. So I think you just reach out to all of those people that are close to you and just check on them.
Yes.
Good point.
So thank you all for, coming, and we hope that you're all doing well.
Yes.
Okay as well.
If you're not, reach out to us.
Yes.
We'll, give you a little positive energy there.
Okay. Now we're going to move into the news.
I didn't dance. What was the thing?
It's together. I don't know. We're thrown off. We're not used to like sitting next to each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do I look at you? Do I look at
I know.
them?
I don't know. Let us know. And if you're watching the YouTube video, you're like, y'all look weird together. Don't record together anymore. In the news section, we are going to preview the news that comes out from the Empowering Pumps and Equipment newsletter. It comes to your inbox twice a week. Sign up for that so you can stay up to date on what's going on in the industry.
And the industry person of the week is James Hutch. He is with Industrial Flow Solutions, a business development manager.
Yep. A project that he's proud of, that he's currently working on an innovation technology that advances wastewater lift stations to be safer, healthier, and combat challenges we see with modern trash loading, which super impactful on all of us in the work and just our everyday lives. So really cool story. Check him out. And
yeah, and I just want to thank our, anytime our partners send in a person of the week, I'm just really grateful of that. I mean, we feel like we know you, right? You're our partners and everything, but let's share that as well. You're not off limits. So thank you, Industrial Flow Solutions, for highlighting one of your members, and just nominate somebody else, right? Look for that person. We'd love to highlight them.
Yes, my story that I'm sharing with you comes to us from our partner, EGC Enterprises. Thank you for sharing. And it's titled A Faster Solution for Outages Schedules, the VSG. The article talks about how the use of VSG Pro, one of their products, reduces outage durations by delivering a customed product within 48 hours. Which, to have that solution come to you that quickly, they've made a lot of strides really in the past 15 years. They talk about how delivery time went from 8 weeks, 6 weeks, all the way down to 48 hours. In 2010, they made this breakthrough where they have a high density, high temperature graphite pressure seal with no tooling and no caps called the VSG Pro. With no production tooling or cap, standard delivery fell to 48 hours or even sometimes the same day. And now outage managers and rebuilders could get a custom engineered flexible graphite seal that could be completed the same day the order arrived and shipped immediately. So the result was faster graphite seals on the planet. So
remarkable. And I know that their customers are so happy because when they're wanting this product, it's probably a critical time and they don't really want to extend their downtime either. Okay, so my story comes from Durlon Sealing Solutions. Gasket thickness is thicker, better. Well, I don't really know, but when we're talking about gasket thickness, it may not be, depending on several things, okay? The type of the gasket material being used, the size of the gasket, application parameters, the flange condition, just a lot of things can affect this, and we don't really know. So we're going to read the article, right? They're going to cover metallic and semi-metallic gaskets, soft gaskets, advantages actually on thick versus thin soft gaskets, and common recommended gasket thickness, and much, much more. Okay, so check them out. Durlon Sealing Solutions. Thank you for the article.
Yes. And now we get to move to one of our favorite segments in the show, the industry interview. And I really love it when our guest is another podcaster.
Yes, this was so much fun. And this is something, so if you're out there and you are a podcaster in the industry, I want to hear from you. Hopefully you're listening to us, but I want to hear from you. And Amanda Holloway is the marketing communications professional there at Xylem. I've been following her and had a kind of a relationship from a distance with her for a while. She's been there for 12 years, and she's currently the demand generation manager for rental and service solutions in the Americas. So that's leading a global water technology, company there at Xylem, Let's Solve Water. We talk a lot about that, but she's also the founder of this Solving Water, a Xylem podcast. She launched it in 2019. The focus is thoughtful and informative conversations with industry experts in the water industry. So check her out. First of all, Amanda Holloway, Demand Generation Manager for Xylem Rental and Service Solutions.
Yep. So without further delay, here's your interview.
Welcome to the Empowering Industry Podcast. Amanda, I am so happy to have you on. And we've known each other for a long time through email, and I'm just happy to get to have this kind of virtual conversation with you. So let's start with introducing you to our listeners, just kind of who you are, what you do, what's your story.
It's great to be on, Charli. Thank you so much. Really excited to be able to share what I've been working on. And you're right, we've known each other for a long time in different phases of our career in this industry. So it's great to be here today. So you asked me what about me and what do I do? Right now, currently, I am the demand generation manager for our rental and services solutions business in the Americas portion of Xylem. Xylem's a water tech company. And I've been in that role for about a year. But I have been touching the water industry in some form or fashion since about 2007, 2008. Started my career in the agency world, PR and social media primarily. And that, we've seen how much that's grown, like integrated communications over time. But, just different clients, helping them navigate the water business. And in 2014, I was hired at Xylem. And I had a different roles in marketing and communications there. And then, yeah, I've been basically doing marketing and communications for Xylem just ever since. And then in 2019, fall of 2019, I launched the Solving Water podcast for Xylem.
Yeah, and that's what got my attention to have you on our podcast for certain. Sometimes when we think about marketing and maybe we don't really understand all that goes into marketing and having to understand the products and the people and the technology, just we have to learn a lot as marketers to be able to be a good, storyteller and being able to share the right resources and everything. So I wanted to kind of combine all that. With the podcast, we do cover social media and marketing at the top of our segment. So some of that, but then also just highlight how important it is to understand our industry. And you're showcasing that through the podcast now that you're doing, Solving Water. Tell me why you created the podcast.
Sure. So in 2019, I was in more of a horizontal role, and my job was to help develop content and bring awareness to all of our different business units across the Americas. So lots of brands, lots of applications, solutions, people, awesome stuff. And at the time, I was working with some verticals to help them generate content. And you know this, Charli, that engineers and scientists are awesome people, but they don't always love video. So I was looking for a way to cost effectively generate content, let them tell them their stories without them having to feel in the spotlight on a video.
Yes, which is a true thing. Okay, we all had to learn how to be on display, and some people have like a lower risk factor in that category, right? They just do not want to do it. And to your point, we still need video content, and so how do you create that? I love it.
Exactly, and I can also say I was a very different host in the beginning. Than I am now. But so that's how it started. We just wanted to talk to people in the industry. We aligned it more with our verticals. So commercial building services, residential building services, water utilities. So they were very focused. The episodes were very focused on that type of content. And then, of course, the lovely pandemic happened not long after. And actually, maybe a silver lining there. Solving Water was able to sort of take off from there. And just gradually, Xylem has given me an awesome opportunity to expand it. So now it's really kind of just my passion project. And I'm able to talk to people from all over the industry, whether in or outside of Xylem, about all sorts of things, which is, like to your point earlier, great from a marketer standpoint, because there is we have to be an inch deep and a mile wide, and we work with some really smart people. So it's been really, really fun to just get to know everything we're doing inside Xylem and then across the industry as well.
Well, for me, I also feel that I learned so much more by talking to people. I don't know if it's just like I get to ask the next question. This is how I process information. I don't know. But I'm like, okay, that's a really interesting person. And they have a topic that I want to know about. And just ask them. Do you find this the same way that you just I can't think of the word, but like keep the information for longer that way?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the points I wanted to make was that because we as hosts have a natural curiosity, and the industry is so full of awesome people, like just no matter what they do. And because we have a specific focus of marketing compared to these more technical areas, yeah, I mean, it's awesome to be able to just like, I've talked to our federal policy advocate in Washington, and I asked him, like, what is it like to just be in Washington? Like, what is a day in the life like? Or talking to Matt Latino, who was our former VP of Investor Relations, since moved to a new role. I was like, help me understand why the street works the way it does when we're all going through this pandemic and we're all facing these economic headwinds. Like, just, yeah, they're very much personal curiosity, and I don't feel ashamed to ask those questions because I learn a ton.
Yeah. And I think it's important. I think it's important to connect all these things together. You have this very highly technical product, which is great, but you have to be able to know how to share your idea on how to make it better, or, where it needs to go. You need to understand that industry and the finances and the economic values that are going to get those things to happen. I think it broadens the industry and like what the individual learns, and we're teaching people on that level. Like, so I love it too. I love podcasting, and I love meeting people. And like you said, there's thousands and thousands of people to interview, so you'll have no problem there of getting people. But I'm a little curious about how you got into the industry. We kind of skipped over that a little bit, but not just what brought you to marketing? What brought you to industry?
A little bit of a happy accident. I was a marketing and French major in college, and also a global business minor. So I've always had an interest in marketing and communications, but wasn't really sure what direction I wanted that to go in. And first job out of college was at an agency that focused primarily at the time on public relations. And so that was a new world for me. Opened up, taught me a lot about myself, how to work with people, communications, all that good stuff. And that agency just happened to have primarily B2B clients. So
Okay.
Not necessarily just water industry, but general B2B businesses. So I really sort of honed my skill set there, got really comfortable writing, developing content, speaking that sort of B2B language, got a lot of great experience. And then, it just sort of morphed from there. At the time I started working with Xylem, it was actually ITT Corporation. So It was a big conglomerate. And then in 2011, they separated into 3 different entities, the water business being Xylem. And I was very involved in that process.
And that's not easy, y'all. Let me just say, like, that is not easy. And it is not, just a little blip of time. It was a process. And, I think there's still some people probably get them mixed up as far as the brands, but not Xylem, but some of the other brands. I just, going through that, and I don't know. I guess I never think of myself as a marketer, though I am. But I learned so much when I started my company about what marketers do, that there's just this technical side that I want everybody to appreciate.
Right. And be able to help them see it in a way that makes sense for them. And I think
Yes.
that's like just been my sort of driver as I've gotten into the industry. It's like, I don't know what a pump curve is. I need to learn about flow and head. I need to understand, you know, all these different technical things, but I want to know that. And then I want to be able
Yes.
to tell that story to other people in a way that resonates for them. So that, I mean, it's just sort of been this ongoing thing with me. And I love the business.
And that's what makes a good marketer. So, all of you out there who are marketers who appreciate this, you do have to learn the industry that you're trying to market. So, in that process, did you fall in love with water? I think you have to say that, but is that part of what keeps you there at Xylem? Is there a passion there for water as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. One of the things, and I'm sure this came up for you as well, Charli, is that as you start to dig into the business, right? As my roles have changed, I've met more people, I've traveled, and then now this podcast has afforded me this opportunity to understand just how integral water is to so many things that we don't even think of. I mean, I am still learning about stuff we do inside of Xylem, and I have been associated with this company for 10 years plus. So, I mean, it's great. I mean, the passion for water is about all the things that we're trying to do, what the company is working toward, affordability, accessibility, resilience, like all these great things, but it's also just fascinating to learn about. Hey, we work in the recreational marine industry. We also make water sensors. We also make products that go into beverage dispense. I mean, it's really just such a broad range, and so yeah, I would say that yeah, there's definitely a passion there, and I'm fortunate to have such great people in the industry to work with.
Wonderful. Well, I'm excited about the podcast and seeing how it grows. I loved when you talked about, being able to interview people outside of the space, outside of just Xylem. I think that's important to get the industry's input there. Anything else that you kind of about the podcast that you want to talk on?
Sure. I just, want if your listeners aren't familiar with Solving Water or with Xylem, I encourage you to go to xylem.com to learn more about our business in general. But Solving Water, the podcast itself really focuses on interview style. So I have informal interviews on very timely topics with like I said, professionals, whether they're inside Xylem or outside. In the water industry, we also have a big piece of business, Census, that also works on the energy side. So you'll start to get some episodes in that vein as well. And I'm just a naturally curious person, so I'm excited to bring more content. We just hit our 100th episode published this week, so very exciting over here.
Yes.
But yeah, and I would also, and if anyone's out there that's interested in starting a podcast, just know that it is, if you make it personally rewarding or fulfilling for yourself, you will find that it will take off and you will have a great experience. And that content is just so important, especially in today's world when everyone's multitasking. I'm really working hard internally to also get my team on my Xylem colleagues on board with, hey, these podcasts are really a great opportunity to get in touch with people about our industry while they're on the road, while they're doing, whatever other tasks. And so it really is a channel that we all should be embracing.
Yeah, and you're so right. I mean, it's not hard to jump on here and have an interview ever because we love it, right? It's part of us. We've built something that we want to talk about that's really close to our work, which I think is important. When your work and kind of your hobbies align, that makes for a great day. But with that kind of everybody that you have at your, I guess, we can invite anybody to participate, but we really want people who want to be there to participate. And so we want you to understand why it's important. And it is important because you're teaching, you're educating the industry on the things that they need to know in a timely manner and something that they can consume in their busy lives, right? In so many ways that they can do that. Maybe they always have YouTube on, right? So you could stream it a video. And I haven't looked at you on video on Solving Water if you're there. But I think it's easy just to plug into your podcast or your phone, and it's readily available for you is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, absolutely. And with Solving Water, as with your podcast, there's just a broad range of topics. So you don't have to feel like you need to be a specific certain industry professional. You can just be someone who's curious about PFAS and what's going on there, or someone who's curious about climate change and how that's impacting different parts of the world. Anything. I mean, you can just be a regular person that just wants to know more about water. And I think that education, closing that gap, is a great goal for both of us.
Okay, I have to ask you, what is your favorite podcast that you've done? Does any one of them stand out to you? Oh. I know. I should have prepped you for that question.
No, it's okay. I mean, I can't pick just one. But gosh. I think the one that immediately viscerally came to mind was a really fun podcast I did with some folks in Canada, in Alberta, and they had the utility had a partnership with the University of Calgary, and so they did this water reuse project locally with a local brewery, and so I had an expert from the utility. Then I had the brewer, and I also had someone from the college, all on that podcast. And it was just really fun, laid back conversation. I mean, and I think everybody can relate to things like the brewing industry, what have you. And so it was just nice to do something like that. But I mean, I've had our CMO. I've interviewed him in the back of a van once, leaving a project.
Yes. I listened to that one. I was going to bring that one up next. I loved that.
I love that one.
The fast forward, I listened to the one most recently. And it's funny the little things that come out that just make us humans. Okay. We're just talking about real world stuff. And also I got a lot out of his conversation about marketing and looking at the future of what marketing looks like and what we need to be doing individually versus collectively. So I really enjoyed that podcast. So like you said, there's so much we can talk about and dive into. What else do you want to leave our readers with? Or readers.
I know. I do that too. I do that too. Well, I just want to say again how much I appreciate you having me on your podcast, and would love to invite you to come and do the same if you'd ever be willing to talk about Absolutely. The marketing and communication side of the water industry. I've done one other episode like that, and with Travis Loop actually, and I think it would be great to have you on.
Thank you.
Love to dig more into your side of the world in terms of empowering women and some of your other business entities that you're leading right now.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd love to anytime repay the favor. It's so fun, this podcasting world. So if you're a podcaster in the industry, please reach out to us. We want to hear from you. Amanda, it's such a nice time, right? Just getting to know somebody that we can understand each other. So it's wonderful to have you in this very empowered woman here in our industry. And we're going to have a lot more to talk about. So stay around and we may have you back on, Amanda. We'll see. Okay.
Fantastic.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
And we're back. Charli, I really loved the interview. Amanda, thank you for coming on the show. A couple things that really stood out to me was that she was a marketer looking for a solution to get content. So she was trying to implement this content marketing strategy. And she said, hey, sometimes I can't get people to give me their written out story. I'm going to get them to tell it to me and share it with people. And she really talks about podcasts being a medium that helps you connect in this world where people are constantly multitasking and just the importance of storytelling and all that we need as we're solving water.
Yeah. And I think that that's so key for our listeners who are looking at how can I get more people in my company involved? How can I make it easy for them and solve my issue here of content and distribution of that, because it's good. I mean, people want to hear stories. Yes. They want to hear from people. We remember it better. So this is the new way to share our content. And so I loved it.
Yes, definitely check out her podcast, Solving Water, the Xylem Podcast. We'll link that in the show notes as well as how you can get connected with her. And if you hear anyone on her podcast that you're like, I want to hear even more from them, reach out to them. Let us know who they are. We're always looking to share great stories with you, our audience, which is why we're here. So
yes, and she invited me to her podcast. I'm really excited about that. So stay tuned there.
Fun fact. Yeah. You should watch the video. She's got a picture of Van Gogh in the background that I just couldn't stop staring at. I was like, this is a cool person.
She is. She's definitely a cool person. Yeah. Okay. Well, that brings us to the end of the show, you guys. Thanks for listening.
Yes. Do us a favor, rate, review the podcast, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. We love to hang out with you every Monday.
And we love to hang out with you on social too, at Empowering Pumps, using the hashtag Empowering Industry Podcast, or email us podcast@empoweringpumps.com.
We'll be back every week with a new episode.
Until then, be empowering.
Oh, I can't find the button. There we go.
Exit. There it is. Now we can dance. We actually do